Welcome back. We continue our coverage of the World Economic Forum taking place this week in Davos, Switzerland. And for an update, let's check in with Yahoo Finance's Brian Sozzi. And Brian, looking behind you, it's a little bit more rainy there today than it was yesterday. That's my big observation.
Hey, Jared. Well, you're on the mark, and yes, you were correct. The conditions really bearing down on us here in Davos, Switzerland. You got some rain, you got some cold, but nonetheless, it's still a hotbed of activity here at the World Economic Forum. And I loved your conversation on the economy at the top. You do not even need me. You don't even need me in the studio, because I think all you guys really, really nailed it. And it really fits with what I'm starting to hear from a lot of different executives that I talked to. I had a breakfast meeting with one longtime tech CEO this morning telling me that European business is slowing down, and it's slowing down to a large degree. And I think that is getting lost in all this focus on a U.S. recession. What is in fact happening in Europe? Now, a lot of folks are stopping short, saying that Europe is in fact in a recession, but still the slowdown is real in Europe. You heard that with some commentary out of the IMF at the World Economic Forum earlier this morning. Also heard it from a UBS CEO, Ralph Hammers, on another network, concerned about how wealthy folks are investing in the market. Newsflash, they're not really putting new money to work on this dip. So there's lots of concerns, and very valid concerns about the markets and the economy. I just came back before this, having lunch with a well-known hedge fund manager with billions of dollars under management, telling me that the stock market has probably not bottomed yet. So when these folks are telling you this type of info, guys, really have to take it and digest it, and have to wonder if this bear market, especially in tech stocks, is not yet done. Now, I put that question and some other things to Cloudflare CEO and co-founder Matthew Prince. Caught up with him earlier today, and I asked him his thoughts about the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. Take a listen.
I think one of the things that we really anticipated was that as the war took off, that one of the things that Russia may do is strike out against the West and see more cyber attacks against the West. So far, that hasn't happened to the extent that we expect. Why do you
think that's the case?
You know, I think a couple of things. One, Russia itself is quite vulnerable to cyber attacks, and so if they launch those attacks against the West, I think they're concerned that the attacks might come back at us. I think, secondly, a lot of their attention is focused inside of Ukraine, and that it just hasn't been focused around the rest of the world. But it's something we stay vigilant for. We're concerned about, but so far, you know, the concern that the Russians are coming to the rest of the world hasn't come true.
And worth mentioning here, guys, as well, is that Cloudflare is still operating in Russia. I asked Matt why that is still the case. It says if they pull out, you might see increased cyber attack risk from Russia. So that is something to keep in mind of. Now, we'll have more from that interview later on in the show. But I do want to go back to the economy real quick here, because all those companies that reported earnings this morning, they are all global businesses. Abercrombie & Fitch still has a good presence here in Europe. You look at Best Buy. I'm sure the folks there in Minneapolis running that company think they're not a global business. Well, newsflash to them, they in fact are, because a lot of products they get are from China and other parts of the region. They still have to deal with inflation. They still have to deal with an economic slowdown in Europe. So again, what you're seeing here in the markets, pre-market at least, that sell-off, to me, seems valid based on what I'm hearing here over at the World Economic Forum.
Man, you cannot resist, can you, Brian Sozzi? You're in Davos. You do Davos. We'll do markets. It's okay. Just quickly,
I miss you guys. I miss you guys. Julie, the wind is really blowing here. You're breaking up. But again, markets could be a tough session.
All right. And by the way, when you said you felt like we had it under good control here, I think that means post Davos, you should take a nice long vacation, jet on down to the Riviera, go sit under an umbrella. I think that's what you need to do.
I'll see you the day after Memorial Day. LFG. Let's do this.
All right.
Sounds good. We're going to hear from you later on throughout the day. Yahoo Finance's Brian Sozzi.